on today's show, we have Nate and Jacob with the movie Brave the Dark. Gentlemen, thank you so much for chatting with us.
Yeah, thank you for having us. We're excited to be here.
Yeah. So let's get into our conversation here. Brave the Dark, we got a chance to screen it the other day, and it is a powerful movie. Really enjoyed it. And Nate, the story is about you and about another guy named Stan. So I guess we'll just get right into it. If you don't mind, tell us a little bit about Brave the Dark.
Yeah, so 13 years ago, I decided to write my story. And it's the story of some devastation happenings, some tragedy in my past as a young boy. And I grew up becoming an angry young man. I got myself into some trouble, and if it wasn't for a teacher stepping in and helping me, it wouldn't have been a good outcome. And so that's what this story is about. It's about someone stepping in to save another human being and not wanting anything in return. That's really the heart of Brave the Dark.
Yeah. Now, I know, like, after seeing the movie, I understand why you would want to tell it. But what made you want to tell your story into a film and put it into a film?
Yeah, I've always loved film. I've always loved movies. I never felt myself as a book writer or any, an author. And so, from the very beginning, I put it in final draft, not knowing what I was doing, and just wanted to write the story as a movie, never realizing that we would actually get this far and actually have a movie that's really, really powerful and going to be in theaters across the country. But believed that I had a powerful message to get out of hope and redemption, and that no matter where you are in life, you can get through things. You can get through it. And there are people out there who are willing to help you. So yeah, I wanted it to be a movie because I love movies. They move me every time you go. The music, the visuals. I just felt like it was the best medium for the film.
The characters in the film play a pivotal role, and we'll talk about the music obviously here in a minute. But the who you choose to play the parts, and especially choosing someone to play yourself. You got to be pretty picky about that. So tell us about choosing the roles of the film.
Yeah, I mean, thankfully we had a really great director, Damian Harris, who really understood my story. I told him my story. I told him the heart of that story and what I was hoping from it. And he, thankfully he has a wonderful brother named Jared Harris, who he shared the script with and said, man, I would love to play the character of Stan. And so thankfully that happened rather easily, which was, unbelievable for me. But then trying to find someone to play me, it was like, what was really important was that it wasn't some, really hard guy that you didn't like, or that, because I never felt like I was a bad guy. I always felt like I was just in such a bad situation and I was just trying to survive. And so having someone portray me with that depth and with that understanding that you're just trying to survive and that you're not always angry. And you want the audience to like them, going with Nicholas Hamilton, and he was such a perfect cast. He really dug into the character, I believe, and just really portrayed him as a guy, that underdog. You want to see him succeed, even when he messes up over and over. You just want him to succeed. And that was important. And I think he nailed it. I think he did such an incredible job.
Yeah. When we looked at the film and everything, and we got all of the people that were involved, you had a guy in there, the director of photography. Is it Julio? Is that how you say his name?
Julio the Cat.
Okay. I just see like the Home Alone thing. So what is that? Was he in the actual Home Alone, like, photographer of the movies?
Yeah, he was the DP.
Okay.
Yeah, he also did a lot of other things. He has quite a resume. You'll have to look it up. I think he was part of I'm sorry, it's kind of drawn a blank right now, but he's done quite a few.
Yeah. Well, we just saw Home Alone because that's one of our favorites.
Pitch Perfect, Home Alone 1, Home Alone 2, quite a few. And he was really drawn to this story. A lot of film guys are out there, they're making superhero movies, or they're making all these films that sometimes they don't have this message. And he was really drawn to the story and really wanted to be part of it with this team. And so I was very fortunate because I believe that we had a really strong script that people just really liked and said, man, I'm willing to do this, lower budget film, which is so cool, so amazing. That's part of the miraculous journey that I've been on.
Yeah. And something we would just want to highlight and everything is the Stan Dean Foundation really behind the movie. So tell us a little bit about that foundation.
Yeah, just to honor Stan, I just really felt, this Mr. Dean, I really felt like his legacy needs to live on. And we're going to do that through the Stan Dean Foundation. And basically, what we're going to do, and it's simple, is we're going to help young people through education and the arts, especially those that are in need. Those underdogs, those guys that just don't have the same advantages as other people, other students. They have a rough home life. And so we want to help them with education. They might not have the funds to go to college, so we want to help them if they have the grades. And definitely just any way that we can help them through the arts. One of the things that Mr. Dean did with me was he got me involved in theater. He got me involved in the arts. And I ended up going on to do arts for the rest of my life because he built that community around me. And so we want to do that for youth in need. And so we're going to partner with companies, with nonprofits all across the country, which is really.
Yeah.
Nate, in the film, was it, being on the set and everything, was it difficult to rehash some of this stuff and to see the things that you went through on film? I don't know, when movies are made, you really don't know if it's like step by step exactly what happened. Some things were probably added in, some things were probably taken away, but was it difficult to replay and rehash some of those things as being on the set?
Yeah, actually it was. Even writing the script was really hard, and that's why I think it took so long, because some of it was like, do I really want to relive this? Do I really want to think so deeply about those moments? But every time I did, Stan would remind me that, your story is going to help others. Right. And so then we finally get to set, and I'm like, I'm going to be on set every day. How cool is that? And so, as we did some of those harder scenes, it got really hard. And I think, one of the toughest scenes in the whole movie, I don't want to give it away. I kind of watched the first take, and then I asked them to let me go back to headquarters. It was just too much to see it over and over. And thankfully, the set team was so incredible. They just protected me, and they understood the depth of the story, and they really honored and protected me during those times. So they, got me in a van and took me back to headquarters so they could finish it out strong. And yeah, it's still tough to watch at times, but I believe I'm healed from a majority of it. I'm healed from a lot of that trauma, and so now I can tell that story. I can tell my story.
Yeah, an amazing platform to do that. Like have a whole movie about it, and
Right.
Watching the film, there was a lot of hard parts, to watch, and I'm not even you. And so I just, God is so good, and that the healing is a powerful testimony, to tell people. And so this story definitely has to get out.
Yeah, and I'm a firm believer that in order to show the brightness of the light at the end, you got to show that darkness. There are people that are struggling in this world. There are people that are hurting. And if we don't show it, then we don't know it. There's a lot of good people out there that want to help people, but they don't always know the causes. And I think this movie brings up a lot of those issues. But I don't want people to think this is such a dark and heavy movie. There's some real heavy moments, very heavy moments, but it's just filled with light and joy and redemption and hope and love at the end that you just got to stick in there, stick with it. You'll get to it. And I think you'll leave wanting to be a better person.
Yeah. And now something that, yes, of course, like the director did great and the writing was great, but the the composure of all the music really told the whole story. Like you could put just the music and just ride along. Like
Yeah.
just listen to the music. No one's saying any script or anything like that. So tell us about the score, Jacob, in this film.
Sure. Well, first off, the other half of the music was my my main scoring partner, Rowan Hilton. We've done a ton of work together for the past 8 years, and that's for sure it came from God, because the way we were brought connected to the film just seems so fortuitous. It was a person that we never met on a project. It was just through an email, and this person liked our music, recommended us for this job, and then we've never heard from this person again. So it was like not like somebody that we had like a real strong background with. They brought us to Derek, the producer, or one of the producers, and Damien, the director. And honestly, I know Rowan feels the same way. We're honored to be a part of this. I mean, we were the lucky ones to. It was a real gift to join it, and we didn't know anything about Stan or Nate, so we saw it fresh. We saw the film, and of course, you see at the beginning based on a true story. But I mean, we've all seen that in films before. And I remember the film just kind of washing over me. And it's like one of those experiences that you just want to have over and over again, because it's so inspiring and fulfilling and satisfying to go through it, I think, And I remember feeling a lot of excitement, but of course, an immense pressure, because you didn't want to, it needs to be done justice, And of course, the longer I've been a part of it, I've had conversations with Nate, Derek, and learned more about Stan. And I kind of am happy that we didn't know as much, because now that I know, I said it over the weekend, just like, the pressure of coming up with a theme for Stan Deen. Oh my God. Like, this guy is just so important. And Nate, your story, it's really, it's powerful. And to have that pressure over your shoulder, like you're playing the piano, like that's not good enough, so we kind of had a gift of coming in and kind of starting fresh. And I've said this before, Rowan and I've told this story, that there is a lot of darkness. And, as composers, especially in film, it's very easy to start and write in darkness. There's just like a huge canon of music to draw upon if you want to write dark music. So we started with that, and we came up with all kinds of ideas, and it just wasn't really working, because, with a feature story, everything has to be connected. You want to carry the audience along. It's all part of the structure that hopefully the audience doesn't even notice, but it's critical. And it just wasn't really fitting. So Rowan had the idea. I remember him going over to the piano in the studio. He said, why don't we start at the end? Why don't we start with the light? And he came up with the first few notes of the theme with these chords that ended up being what you hear. I don't want to give anything away, but you hear it towards the end. And it just, everything opened up after that. And it was just like amazing. It was just like this gift. We had the first two chords, and then it just fell into place. And we put this on ourselves, that we wanted to have a theme that could be intertwined with Stan's theme, so that throughout the film you have these two pieces that are hopefully kind of subconscious. You don't realize it, but they all kind of fit together. And then you have the glorious theme, which is also in there. And we've embedded it in all of the really heavy parts of the film. And it's kept it very subtle, but it all fit together because of the light at the end. So anyways, very satisfying for us to have found that.
Yeah, no pressure, because normally when there's movies about true stories, about a character, about someone in the film, they're normally not the filmmaker. And so no pressure on doing the music.
Yeah, I know. Nate, I don't know if Derek told you, because when we did the orchestral recording session, it was at Warner Brothers, and Derek was like, Nate's coming. And we were like, what?
Why?
And we were like, oh my God, the pressure's on, like. And I remember the way that the way you record, if you're going to do a lot of music, it just works really better for the orchestra to do kind of like the more fully formed pieces. So we decided the first thing we recorded was the end. And so the first thing Nate heard was like his theme and like full form, and I remember everybody was emotional. The musicians didn't even know the story. They cheered, and like they stomped their feet afterwards. They were just like, oh my God, this is so gorgeous. Like everybody was just like, there was already tears, and I was like trying to conduct. I'm like, okay, keep it together.
Yeah, we were in the control room crying. It was such an honor to be at Warner Brothers Studio and recording this music. It was pretty incredible.
Well, tell us about the end of the movie, the credits song. We got to hear the whole song the other day. We were so like, 80s music is our 90s and 80s, but when we heard that Belinda Carlisle is singing a song with Nick, we was so excited to hear it. I just can't help it. Every time I hear her voice, I hear her song, Heaven is a Place on Earth.
I know, right?
I'm like,
yeah.
She can't. It's so hard when she's singing to hear her sing something else, but it was a great song. So tell us how you got her involved.
It can't be given to me or Rowan for that. Nicholas Hamilton wrote the song. I think he had a producer friend, or he kind of came up with the meat of it. And then the music supervisor, Jonathan McHugh, he had the idea, like, let's get someone from that era. And I feel like once you get a hold of this film, how can you say no? Like, so of course they got the story, and then, she gave like a sweetheart rate, and sang the song. And I remember when Jonathan told us, like, oh yeah, Belinda Carlisle is going to do a duet with Nicholas. We were like, what? Because this stuff, like, you have these ideas. I've been a part of a lot of projects where they're like, oh, we reached out to so-and-so and like they might be on it. And then it just like always kind of fizzles, and like whatever happens, it doesn't stick the landing. And this one went right through, and we were like, wow. It's like the project was blessed. It was like everyone that was asked to be a part of it, they were like, thumbs up.
Has Belinda got to see it?
I don't know. I don't think so yet. That is on our radar to see when she'll get a chance to see it.
Yeah, maybe she'll come to the premiere
at some point. She did not come to the premiere.
Oh, okay.
So, she was overseas, I think, even recording the music. Like, okay. I think she did hers in London, and Nick did his in New York, I believe. Yeah, so it was kind of like she just walked in like everyday clothes and just loved the song and sang it, is what I heard. So yeah, we're excited for that to be released at some point. And yeah,
cool. Well, with first time guests, we like to do something our viewers and listeners really like this. It's called favorite things. And so we will just give you guys a word and you tell us your favorite thing in that category. Sound good?
Okay.
No pressure now. This usually divides our listeners. It's either, black or white. And so it's very divisive. So,
okay. Jacob, you go first.
I got to go first.
Chris?
Favorite food?
Oh, man. Sushi.
I'm spaghetti.
Yeah. When I was a kid, it was pizza, but now I'm like, I got to say something better. Sushi.
There's no shame in pizza, man. I love pizza.
You can't say chicken fingers.
Yeah, you can't say dino nuggets.
Where you guys? What state are y'all from? This is not part of favorite things, but where do you guys live out of?
I'm from Pennsylvania.
Okay.
But I'm currently in Kansas City.
Yeah, I'm from North Carolina. My father was a Marine, so moved around every 2 years. But I started life in North Carolina.
Yeah. Well, I don't know North Carolina what they're. Well, the guys at Cheerwine, I know that the drink.
Okay.
You don't know what that is?
I don't. Yeah, because I left.
So you're not there anymore. Okay.
Yeah. No. Yeah, moved every 2 years. So I started there. I graduated in Okinawa, Japan, from high school. So it was quite a jump around.
Yeah. Wow. North Carolina has this soda drink called Cheerwine. It's like a cherry cola. It's really good. And then Pennsylvania, I guess there's all kind of good food there.
Hershey's chocolate.
Hershey's chocolate.
Which is a big part of the movie, which I love,
Yeah.
What is your all's favorite movie?
Mine is Life is Beautiful.
Oh, wow. That's a good one. Mine is Shawshank Redemption.
It is a good one.
But yeah, Life is Beautiful, man. That one. I can only watch that once. It hits you.
It hits you because, again, it's that story of like this father who's going through this devastating thing, but somehow he yet figures out how to make it joyful for his son. Like,
Yeah.
like that's crazy.
Yeah.
All right. Do y'all have a favorite show to binge?
You got to go first, Nate. I don't
Mine was Mad Men, like with, Jared Harris, of course.
Yeah.
I loved Jared Harris even before we knew we were getting him. Like I've loved a lot of the things that he's done. And Chernobyl was another one that I just, that was only 6 episodes or 4 episodes, but such an incredible movie.
I'm going to be guilted by all my composer colleagues to hear me say this, because my favorite show doesn't have a score, The Office.
Oh, yeah. That's our favorite.
Guilty pleasure, yeah.
Well, my favorite
wife
anyway.
And I've seen the whole thing multiple times. It's just, at the end of it, because I've watched and work on shows all day, every day, and a lot of them are very heavy and serious. So when we finally sit on the couch, everyone's like, you got to watch the new blah, 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 the new blah, blah, blah. And I put on like The Office. Like I just want like
That's
silly, and it's like so reliable.
Apparently they're doing a reboot of it. That's from what I hear.
Really?
Yeah.
So this will be the second reboot, really, right? Because it was the UK first.
Technically, yeah, but let's be honest. I mean, the American version was.
Yeah, I know. I couldn't even get through the UK when I was like, it doesn't feel the same.
Well, their jokes are just not. I don't know. They're different than the American jokes. Yeah.
Yeah.
What is your all's favorite musical artist of all time?
Yeah, I'm gonna say someone nerdy. So you can go first, Nate.
Man, I'm not sure on that one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure. I'm not actually a big music guy. I know that sounds horrible to say, because music moves you so deeply, right? And with someone going through trauma, I'll hear a piece of music that reminds me of some trauma. Like always people go, oh, it makes me feel love. But for me, music wasn't always like the best thing because it always reminded me of negative things sometimes, but no, I don't know. You go first, Jacob. You've got one on the top of your head.
It's really impossible for me to say one name, but I'll say that when I was a kid, the first music that grabbed me and wouldn't let go was Michael Jackson. And
that's a good one.
After that, it was Jerry Goldsmith and John Williams, 2 film composers. And then classical composers, Rachmaninoff and Ravel just crushed me. I spent 10 years of my life as a jazz musician, just professionally, and I was just diehard, Miles Davis, Coltrane, Dexter Gordon. And then favorite band of all time is Tool.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Jacob, have you seen the documentary on Disney Plus of John Williams?
I did finally see it because everyone I knew was telling me about it for months and months. I have to tell this story. I had a dream come true. I got to work on and do the music for one of the big teaser trailers for The Force Awakens, Star Wars The Force Awakens. And I worked on it, did all the music. I got a huge check. It was amazing. Just literally got tears in my eyes, like, thank you, God. And then as a gift, they invited me to a Star Wars recording session, and I got to sit behind John Williams conducting new music for Star Wars. And J.J. Abrams was like 2 seats down for me. And I was like on the Sony scoring stage. I like just turned my phone off. I was like, I don't even want to interrupt anything. I'm just sitting here. And I was like, dude, like this, I can't even believe this is happening.
Yeah.
So
you should have just stood up and just went.
Well, what was really crazy was I'm probably one of the few people in the world who knows what it feels like to be replaced by John Williams. Because I wrote the music for something, and then when he did it, I was like, "Oh, that's how you're supposed to do this." Yeah, big fan.
That's cool.
All right. Favorite hobby, Jacob. You can't say music.
Yeah, I probably don't look like it, but my new favorite hobby is lifting weights. It's changed my life. Yeah, shocker. Sitting at a computer and being stressed out and writing music 7 days a week is not good for the human body. So about 18 months ago, I really started taking it seriously, and I lifted at least 3 days a week. I've been up to 5 and lost about 40 pounds. It's changed my life. Highly recommended.
Mine is watching people work out. No, mine's photography. I love photography. Have been doing it kind of unprofessionally for a long time, but really, really enjoy portrait work. Seeing people as they truly are without their makeup and, in there.
Nate, did that help in casting Nick? Like, because you have to look at lots of headshots.
Yeah,
and
I look at a
everything?
lot of faces, and a
Yeah.
lot of faces. And it's funny, I don't remember names very well, but I can always remember a face and where I saw them. And because I've taken probably 1,000,000 photos in my lifetime, and I always know exactly where I took that photo and what was happening at that moment. It's such a weird thing for me, but that's what I love about it. Capturing that single frame of something really cool is really amazing sometimes.
Do you guys have a favorite ice cream flavor?
Wow.
It's like, it's not chocolate. I'm like, yeah.
No, it's man, these are great questions. Like, this is the stuff I wasn't expecting, right? Like, love it. I love like a coffee ice cream. I know that sounds funny, like a cappuccino ice cream, like that tastes like coffee.
That's not Hershey's, man.
No, true. I don't have to promote them, so
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to be a filmmaker, you need to shoot your next film in Hershey Park.
yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
All right. Do y'all have a favorite podcast or audiobook?
I listen to a lot of different ones, but not too many. I don't literally have the time to to like sit and listen. Yeah, so I don't actually have any. Like,
Yeah.
I'm a pretty boring person.
Not true, Nate. Not true. Yeah. I don't either. I'm actually like full on music nerd. So I'm just starting to dip my toe into the podcast, like listening world, and people are sending me stuff. And I have like a notes like in my phone. I'm like, I got to check this out. People are like, oh, you got to listen to like, what was one of them? Diary of a CEO. One of them. I don't know. So
Yeah.
I think another one was called Christian Music Guys, or something like that.
Yeah,
that's
that
what we were
one's really
supposed to
good.
say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Christian music guys. Yeah.
I like to read, actually. I'm more of I like to just open a book and read it than listen to different things.
Yeah, see, I cannot do that. I'll read like 5 pages and be like, what did I just read? And I have to reread the 5 pages.
Yeah.
Yes. Today's youth.
Squirrel.
Yes.
Yeah, so I will go from audiobooks to podcast to audio. Like I'll have like different seasons.
Yeah. I get you.
All right, so Nate, where can people purchase tickets and see Brave the Dark?
Wow, it's coming out January 24th, right? All over the country. So you can jump on the Angel app and get them, or just go to your local theater. Just like I said, it'll be in a lot of theaters across the country next, like the 24th. I can't believe it's here already.
Yeah. Well, to wrap up, guys, we'd like to see if you all would be willing to share something that God has been doing in your all's life recently that would help build our viewers and our listeners' faith.
Yeah, just for me, he's showing me to just be humble through the process, to continue to be myself through it. I'm getting a lot of attention, but I'm pointing it to Stan, who's the true hero of my story. And just reminding me to thank those that have been such a huge influence on me getting to where I'm going and what I'm doing. Just knowing that he's been a part of this whole journey, even when I thought things were just going downhill. And I thought, man, it was God's timing that really helped make this happen, right? Because I would have wanted this out like 3 or 4 years ago, but his timing just seems so perfect that in 2 weeks it's going to be out for the world to see, and excited to see where it goes from there.
Yeah, Nate, it's incredible. Personally, I used to thank God all the time for helping me actually realize the dream of writing music for movies and TV shows and making a living at it. And then it hit me where you can have what you wished for, and it can, Rowan used to call it, the devil is a tailor-made suit. You heard that phrase? And the stress levels got so severe. I'd been to the hospital several times, and I kid you not, about 2 years ago, there was a day where no joke, I leaned down and I picked up a lampshade out of a cardboard box, and my back spasmed. And then 10 minutes later, I'm laid out on the living room floor had my feet up in the air. I couldn't move. I had to be carried to a car. I had to go to the emergency room. They had to put shots in my back. And the doctor was like, dude, this level of stress is not healthy. I saw another doctor. He said, if you don't make a change, you'll be dead within 10 years. And I've got 2 young boys, and I have made a tremendous change in my life. And I have now found more joy than I ever could imagine from being a father. Being a husband and a father is just like, it's the most important thing to me. And I see my sons and I realize how critical it is to be there in their lives. And part of watching Brave the Dark, it's just reinforced like the importance of family, whether it's a family that you find or build, but it is critical. And I tell you what, I thank God every day that I've had this sort of second chance at life to be healthy and be there for my sons as a husband and a father.
Yeah, so good. Appreciate y'all being vulnerable and sharing.
Mm-hmm.
I have one last question for Nate. This is off the script. Jacob has no idea what I'm about to say. So, this is not a spoiler, but was there at any time a possibility that Nick would have had a mullet in the film?
All right, this is off the record. So we did talk about it, right? We did talk about it, and we actually did a screen test with one. But I think, someone bought a cheap wig and we didn't really put the money into it to do it right. But really what was important is we didn't want to make fun of the 80s either. Like, we didn't want people to watch the film and be making fun of something. And sadly today, people make fun of the mullet. Even though you see it kind of around, it's still something that people laugh at and make fun of. And we just didn't want to go there. And Nick just felt so comfortable just that way, which was great. And even Jared, there was talk about dyeing his hair black because that's, Stan's hair was, jet black. And I was like, no, a redhead with black hair doesn't kind of go well. The complexion, it just wouldn't have looked good. And I also wanted the actors to be real and feel a little bit of themselves in it. And so I do wish that Nick would have had, a little bit messier hair at times. In jail, he still looked like Mr. Cool. But yeah, we did try it. It did not work. And in some ways, I'm kind of glad. I did rock a very good mullet.
Yes.
In the 80s, it was, the girls loved it. And it was the cool thing. Early 90s, it had to go away. So
Business in the front, party in the back.
Absolutely. Right.
Oh, that's great.
Well, go see Brave the Dark out the 24th, just in 9 short days. So Brave the Dark will be in select theaters, and check it out, Angel Studios.